What up, people? It's your boy Chig from Guna Eagle Eye, coming to you again with a brand new video. It's another episode of Eagle Eye Transfer Rumour Show, where I talk to you about transfer rumours and rumours around the Arsenal. So, speaking of the latter, let's talk about the social media movement that's happening today. Hence why there's a big hashtag in my title, and that is the hashtag We Care Do You. Arsenal fans have started a big hashtag movement on social media in an effort really to kind of almost communicate with a man that doesn't like communicating with us, and that is the Arsenal Football Club owner, Stan Kroenke. So a big hashtag has started. And, it's not even a case of, Stan Kroenke out. That's not what the message is about. It's about, trying to work together with the man in order to get the club back to where I think all of us hope, at least all of us as Arsenal fans, hope that the club should be one day, returning back to where we should be, rather than where we find ourselves at the moment. It's a very well worded letter. I've retweeted it a couple of times on my Twitter account. So if you've not had an opportunity to go see it, go check out my Twitter. That's at Colossal Chig. And also give me a follow while you're there. Not far away from 4,000 followers, which I was a bit like, oh, when did this happen? I didn't know I hit 3, never mind 4. So yeah, do give yourself a follow on that. I'm always finding myself in random arguments with people on there. Twitter's a toxic place. Even got into a debate with a Celtic fan. I was like, what the hell the heck did I find this happening? But I'll come back to that when I talk about Tierney. But yeah, I think for me, I think the sentiment is good here. Look, whether you're a Stan Kroenke out or a Stan Kroenke in, I'd like to think that we as Arsenal fans aren't amazingly happy with the lack of progress that we're making or not making on said transfers. It seems like every day we wake up to a story where Arsenal have had their approach rebuffed, approach rejected. Arsenal have not been anywhere near the valuation of said player. I got into an argument on Twitter today, prime example of Twitter, because some guy goes, isn't that the way transfers work? You bid for a player, it gets rejected, you try again. No, motherfucker. You enter a negotiation with the club. You bid what you think, they tell you what you think, and you'd like to think that there was some sort of negotiation. Whenever Arsenal bid, it's just a straight up rejection. They don't even entertain negotiating because they're not negotiating even close to what the club wants. And that's my frustration with Arsenal as Arsenal Football Club. They tell you that they want 50 million for a player. Arsenal will bid 15. Like, well, I didn't tell you I wanted 15. I wanted 50 million for this player. I realize in the back of my head I'm probably not going to get 50 million for the player, but don't take the piss. For me, it's like the Luis Suarez thing all over again. The Luis Suarez thing, if you came correct in the first place and just bid 50 million for Luis Suarez, I know at the time that was a hell of a lot of money, but bid 50 million for Luis Suarez, there was no doubt in my mind we would have been so deep in the negotiations with Luis Suarez, any little chit-chat that Gerrard had with Suarez would have been affected. Because at the time, even for a brief window, this guy wanted to leave the club. But because we weren't serious, we took it on a word that Ivan Gazidis found, that he had an apparent release clause, which, as we learned, wasn't the case. And now we're forever known as the club that bid 40 million plus £1. It's just things like that. It's so tiring. It's so tiring as an Arsenal fan. And I've ranted, I've raved, I've tried to be nice, I've tried to be calm. And I think anything that helps us bridge whatever gap there is between the fans and the owner, I'm all for. Because as much as I would, and I'm speaking for myself here, as much as I would like the man to leave, I personally find his comments that he made in 2014, I believe, 15, where he said that he's not buying Arsenal Football Club to win trophies. I felt that unforgivable. Even as shitty as Mike Ashley is, wants to win clubs with Newcastle, wants to win cups in Newcastle, because he understands that ultimately, if you do that, you have a higher commodity. You have a commodity that is more valuable. And you also know that fans don't want to hear that shit. They don't want to hear that you don't want to win trophies. So, I mean, that's my thing. But I also understand this is someone who's just bought the club. Like, he's just bought the club. The chances of him realistically going are slim to none. So at some point, you're going to have to work with the man. You're going to have to work with him, even as a fan base, to say, all right, listen, I get it. You want to be self-sufficient. But you need to understand that in order to get to where we need to be, you need to spend a little bit. Take it back later. Just spend a little bit, you know? And I think that's where I've always maintained the same thing. I think self-sufficiency is important. You don't want to plunge the club into huge debt. I've always said that. I've always maintained that. I don't, we're not Man City out here. So I get it. We're not even United out here. I get it. But flipping heck, should Tottenham Hotspur, bruv, be outbidding us for certain players? Like, come on. I know they're in the Champions League and we're not, but we've spent a considerable amount of time longer in the Champions League than they did. How are they able to roll like that? All right, yes, I get it. They had 2 seasons where they didn't buy a player. So, just gets on my nerves hearing stories like that. Anyway, I digress. Let's talk about some transfer stories. As per usual, as I said yesterday, you almost, it's like you try and forget what you said yesterday in order to try and find some sort of optimism, some sort of enthusiasm for this damn window that we know deep down is a horrible time for an Arsenal fan. So let's talk about the big story today, and that is Everton Soares. So obviously the Gremio winger scored, I believe, 14 goals in all competitions, scored 3 most recently at the Copa America, where he won the Golden Boot. I know 3 was the total, but hey, listen, he won the Golden Boot. He won the Golden Boot, bro. I'm not going to sniff at that. And yeah, he's clearly a very talented player, 23 years old, Brazilian. Very, very open and keen on a move to Europe. He clearly wants to further his career. Not a huge surprise at the age of 23. And, he set that Copa America alight, really, because as good of a season as he had in his own league, where I believe he scored, was it 10 goals, 11 goals in 28 appearances? Actually, in terms of where he's really come to prominence, it was because of that Copa America, because people saw his performances and thought, oh, this kid is about this life. And obviously, we've been after a winger. We've been after a winger that either plays on the right or plays on the left-hand side. In terms of Everton Soares, he tends to play more on the left-hand side and cutting in, and causes plenty of problems, And he is someone where there is a lot of rumours going on at the moment. He actually currently has a £90 million release clause. However, by some miracle, all Gamera want is 36 million for him. They reckon that if they can get up to 36 million for him, then Arsenal can have him. In fact, in a story I'm reading right now, that's the fee that Gamero have agreed with Arsenal. I'd be very surprised if Arsenal have agreed a fee this quickly for a player. But supposedly that is the rumor, that Arsenal agree Everton fee, but Gamira deal is not yet finalised. So we've still got to thrash out personal terms with him. What they're saying in terms, now bear in mind, I will temper these reports by saying that this report is being reported by Emanuele Guerolini. I am yet to see him have a story correct about an Arsenal player that we're targeting. So he doesn't have a habit of stoking up the fires. But according to Emmanuel, Arsenal are going to pay 28 million euros or 25 million pounds up front for Everton. And I thought it was weird just calling him Everton. I'm going to call him Soares. 25 million up front for the 23-year-old, and that fee could rise to 36 million or 40 million euros. And remember, this is according to Emanuele Guerolini. Now, in addition to this, obviously, I've gone with the title I've gone with, and that's the medical. So apparently, Arsenal have flown in some doctors into Brazil to carry out a physical medical on him. They reckon it's going to be the first part of 2 medicals. Not sure why he's having such an extensive medical. I'm hoping he doesn't have injury issues. But yeah, it seems like there is at least, the one thing I would say is, all right, this part of the report was Emanuele Guerolini, but in several papers, isn't just Guerolini reporting this. Does seem to the movement on this kid. You know, I know that we've been linked with him for a couple of weeks now, but today, all of a sudden, it seems like this is really picking up pace. Particularly because I think the fee is much more of a realistic fee for Arsenal, given the fact that we just attempted to bid 40 million for Zaha. So we know, at the very least, we can manage 40 million for a player. What do I think? I think the kid has got a lot of talent, yo. I think if we can manage to secure that talent, harness it somehow. And you know what I said? I know people didn't like me saying it yesterday, but I'll say it again. You know, let's be real here. We've either got someone who's going to be a huge success for many, 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 many years to come, or we've got someone who, let's be real here, is going to be a huge money-making asset for us. So that if a Barcelona come in, or if a Real Madrid come in, you've got to pay dough to get him. Pay that dough to get him. And I know people don't like me talking like that, but we are where we are. This is the way the club has chosen to conduct business and do business, which means if we're going to do that, every player we have, unfortunately, is up for consideration, particularly going forward, and especially if money. So, to me, what do I think of the player? I like the player, yo. I really do. I like the player. He's an excellent dribbler, pretty good finisher. It's a good passer generally. Likes to put balls in. So someone like an Aubameyang, I think, will really like him. I think Aubameyang in particular is really going to combine well with the kid. Does like to cut inside. So whereas, for example, Zaha likes to go to more the byline and then do some stuff, you're not really going to see that with this kid. So in a lot of ways, it's more of the same of what we already have. And that's a kid that likes to, dribble, but also cut inside. You know, Iwobi does a lot of that. Admittedly, not as well, but he does do a lot of that. So, yeah, how do I feel about him? Let's see what happens. I mean, the kid has something. It's very clear. I got the feeling defensively he's not going to be very great. But then do we need him to be? Is that his job? You know, we need players that are going to be able to go up and down for me, particularly if you are playing on the left-hand side. So, yeah, it's great that you are such an excellent attacker, but we're going to need a lot more from you going forward. But the kid clearly has something. That much is for certain. So I'm definitely looking forward to seeing more from him. So yeah, Everton Soares could be an Arsenal player. Whether you believe these medical reports, that he's having a medical and the Arsenal have agreed a fee, I'm more skeptical about that, even I admit that. But there's definitely something going in here. So just keep an eye on this. Let's talk about Kieran Tierney. Hope people are liking the way I'm saying that word now. Kieran Tierney is, there's no other way of saying it. Celtic have rejected a second bid from Arsenal, set to be altogether worth 25 million. It confused a lot of people. It's like, well, what you looking for 25 million? The way Arsenal wanted to pay it apparently was they wanted to give 18 million up front for Tierney, and then the next 7 million over the next 4 years. Arsenal in it. So, and a lot of that wasn't necessarily guaranteed. So that was the reason that they just flat out rejected it. What they would prefer is something in the region of 20 million up front, and even if it's over the next 5 years, for the next 5 million, they want that money guaranteed. For me, I ain't gonna lie, stories like this Tierney deal, this Salah deal, they're getting boring, yo. I just want it secured. Either secured or moved up at this point, or move the fuck on. You know, move the fuck on. It's not like the only left back. If you don't feel like you can get this deal over the line, and I hope we do, and there's still a lot of confidence generally in the footballing world that we'll drag this deal over the line. But if we can't, move on. Because this is, it's so annoying reading stories about Salah. 1 minute the deal is agreed, next minute it ain't. I saw a story today saying that apparently Arsenal have matched whatever it is that Tottenham have bid. It's like, what the fuck? Shouldn't they be matching us? I thought we had a fee agreed. Oh, man. Right. Let's talk about another story, which I did see, and then I'll pop into the chat room. Guys, make sure, just before I come to this last story, that you make sure you just hit that like button for me. Crush that like button. You guys have been amazing with that recently, apart from my chopping block. Well, I did drop the chopping block kind of late yesterday. But if you haven't had an opportunity to see my chopping block, and you're watching this in the playback, at the end of the video, it will be floating around my head. So do give that click on that. If you're watching this live, just go through my archives. You'll see a chopping block episode. And I think it's one that we can all agree on. Let's put it that way. What was my next story? Yes, this story I found fascinating. Now, obviously, I'm going to talk about three players in a way. I think as I start to unravel the story, you're going to be like, of course, Chig is talking about the story. All right, so let's talk about this story. So it's been confirmed today that Arsenal were very interested in signing Fekir. I know a lot of people were concerned about the fact that, Fekir has that weird knee injury that flared up during the medical for Liverpool, and that was the reason that deal didn't go through for them yet last year. So, by the way, pause. The idea that the European champions Liverpool could have ordered Fekir to that is a scary thought. Anyway, I digress. So yeah, I was unpacking this idea that that Arsenal is interested in a deal for Fekir, but the reason that we haven't made one yet is for the simple reason that we can't get rid of Ozil. As you guys know, Ozil refused to leave. We've offered him apparently a number of packages to go to different clubs, even if it's on loan, just to get him off the books. He flat out refuses. insisting that he wants to stay and fight for his position in the club. Well, Mark Overmars, our club legend, has further made this little pot very interesting, and why this Ozil problem is such a big problem. Mark Overmars, bear in mind he is the Ajax technical director, right? My man came out today and was like, I don't really rate Mesut Ozil. In fact, I find it nuts that I haven't got rid of Mesut Ozil and brought in Ajax's Hakim Ziyech. Even he is saying it. So this ain't just a chid, man. You love up Hakim Ziyech, innit? Even my man's technical director is saying, Arsenal, what are you doing? But for some unusual reason, Emery doesn't rate Hakim Ziyech. I don't get it. I don't get it. He's been making some weird calls recently. Like, Sven came out today as well. I suppose I might as well talk about this story. Sven came out today as well, saying that one of the big reasons that he left the club wasn't just the promotion thing. It was the fact that the call to go and get Denis Suarez was solely Emery's. Sven was so against the idea. In fact, what Sven actually wanted to do was he wanted to give Saka and Willock more of a chance, because Sven's kind of whole idea was that there wasn't a lot of value out there, particularly around January. So his idea was, well, why don't we save our money, even in loan fee, and go and just promote the kids, like promote the kids and give them some exposure. But Emery was so against that. It's almost ironic now that Emery has promoted so many kids at the moment. Saka's still not one of them, but he's obviously gone on to promote Joe Willock, John Jewel Jones, who I'm personally very excited for. John Jewel Jones, where did I get Jones from? John Jules, who I'm very excited. I like the kid, very good striker, big unit, 18 years old, but I've got a lot of hope for him. Saka, I have a lot of hope for as well, but clearly Emery doesn't think he's quite ready yet. And you know what? It might surprise you guys to know, because I think, because obviously he's Nigerian, I think most people will be expecting me to say, I bet you want him in it. No, I don't think he's quite ready yet either. I must admit. I think there's a good talent there. There's a raw talent. I've seen a lot of people say send him on loan. I don't think he's even ready for a loan. Not just yet. I want to see another year under his belt in the under-23s and then reassess this time next year. I like the talent, but we don't need to promote everybody. Do you know what I'm saying? Let's see what certain people have. What I don't want is to be in another situation where everybody likes him because he's done a trick or two and he's rapid. So let him develop in his own natural way. I'm keen to see what Steve Bold does with him, because taking all jokes out of it, taking all jokes about cones and stuff out of it, supposedly Steve Bold knows what he's doing as a coach. Like, when you actually allow him to coach, apparently he's a decent coach. Admittedly, this seems like a far cry from what we know of him now, but supposedly he was hot shit about 3-4 years ago. And then I don't know, Wenger got into him, Emery marginalized him, and he's now seemingly a shadow of his former self. I mean, for me, I'd have too much pride to have some geezer who was working under me previously now be my boss. Because that's basically what's happening with Freddie right now. But hey, it is what it is. Anyway, guys, I'm going to come into the chat room, see what you guys are saying. Make sure you give this video a massive thumbs up. You guys know I love you guys when you do that. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. I am edging ever closer. I am edging ever closer. I don't want to say I'll make my target because I don't want to put a hex on it, but it's looking good. Less than 70 away from my pre-season target of 5K subscribers. 3.5 years work, man. I ain't gonna lie. It's been a long, hard struggle. But yeah, some people, it's light work to get 21K subscribers in like 8 months, and I congratulate him every day for it. I ain't gonna lie, phenomenal. For some people, it's harder. You know, it is harder. It is harder, and I'm determined to not, you know, yeah, I'm determined to not let it slip. I just want to be as successful as I possibly can be. So yeah, I'm hoping you guys are liking the material that I'm giving you. Let's go into the chat, see what you're saying. Oh, you guys have not done badly with the likes still, although you guys can do even better than that. 88 people watching, 46 likes. Come on, people. Drive that shit through 50. You know my rule. As soon as you drive it through 50 and we're live, I'll stop bitching. All right, let's say hello to all my people then. Jad Gas, big up. Ryan, big up. My G, Capone. Mr. Franklin up in the house. Will I buy the shirt, Mr. Scott Smith? Scott, I've actually set money aside for the shirt, but I've not bought it yet. I've not bought it yet. I deliberately want to find out what's going on at the moment. So yeah. Mr. VP, thank you for the donation as per usual. I hope you're good, brother. Mr. Rowlands, what up, what up, what up? We care, do you? I certainly do, my friend. I certainly do. Soares or Ziyech? Oh, Wilson. Fuck you. But the second time in a row. Ziyech. But listen, I want Soares. Don't get it twisted. But Ziyech, come on now. Rich Franklin. Who knows? Who knows, Rich? Who knows? In a way, it's better that we count Arsenal out, because then that's when they'll actually pull money out their ass. Because the same thing happened with Mesut Ozil. We were having a very, very slow summer that year. I remember specifically, we were all calling for a striker, spend 40 million on a striker. Everyone was like, bullshit, Arsenal don't have 40 million. And then literally, I think it was the last 2 days, they just pulled out this 42.5 million. Everyone's like, where the fuck did this come from? So Arsenal are capable. They are capable of spending that money. It's like sometimes it's like they're just like winding us up because they can if they want to. Now, all right, that particular transfer didn't work out, but I'm just saying. 36 million is not out of the realm of possibility. Agreed. I think an 80 million pound player is. You know, one of the stories I didn't talk about today was the fact that Pepe himself completely rubbished the stories around Arsenal bidding for him. I was just like, figures. Gosh, my light is fading me, boy. That natural light is fading. Good evening, Daniel. Hope you're good, man. Saliba prefers Arsenal, reports everywhere. Yeah, I've heard, Khaled. I've heard. And that's why I was always quietly confident. Mind you, maybe these words will come and bite me back on the arse and someone makes a meme out of it when he goes to Tottenham. But, French players tend to like Arsenal. They tend to. I mean, all right, I get that Spurs have just bought Ndombele, but we were also not in for Ndombele. I'm not necessarily saying that would have made a difference, but I just think because of the history we have with French players, they're more likely, let me put it that way, they're more likely to favour us. Mr. Capone, I am Ghanaian, but I was backing you, man. Mari's free kick was dirty, though. Capone, that's a rare thing, man, because I ain't going to lie. I know that Ghanaians and Nigerians have beef, which is crazy because I quite like Ghanaians. But I know that historically we have beef. I think it's like a friendly beef, though. But yes, I ain't gonna lie. I just screamed, oh, fuck off, Mahrez. Like, as soon as that ball went in. But I ain't gonna lie, that free kick was dirty. You could see why Boy Wonder loves him so much. That's some spicy stuff you just said, chick. I don't know what I just said, bro. I'm gonna name his son Zayek. I bet you. Chick's gonna name his son Zayek. I love me a Zayek. I love me Zayek, man. I rate him so highly. I don't trust Steve Bold. I don't blame you, Tom. I don't blame you. Rabadam in the house. Thank you for the donation, brother. What do you say here? I haven't followed you that long, so I don't know how your channel's developed, but consistency is the key in driving traffic. You're doing a good job now. Thank you, Rabadan. I've realized that from my friend. I think you are a mutual subscriber to him. Chig, I was having a bad day, but you made it better, bro. Thank you, Chig. You're most welcome, Gibson. Thank you. I hope I made even a slight difference. Thank you. I'm humbled. Easier if you show up on AFTV. Yeah, but Slayer, I also don't want to. It's not my style. I've been around them so many times. I have nothing against the boys. Well, most of them. You guys know who I don't like. But I have nothing against the boys. But I quite like the idea that I'm building something on my own that no one could ever say to me, oh, well, you're just an AFTV guy. And that is no criticism to any AFTV guys. It's just no one can ever take that away from me. This is me. This is my hard work. No one can ever tell me any different. Boots is in the house. Remember, Chick, you did on your own. Didn't have to run to the banter F. I see you're not a fan of AFTV. No hate. Just the truth, brother. More people see real, genuine. More people are subscribing. I am getting a lot of people subscribing recently, but I think it is what Rabadam said. I think it's a case of being consistent and putting myself out there a lot more. So yeah, thank you guys. Gosh, you guys are being really nice today. That's weird. Josh, well going, brother. Oh, you're good, man. I'm happy to just be in the top 8 this season. Gosh, Slayer, has it come to that? Has it come to that? Who do you think is going to jump us, Slayer? I take it you think Leicester, maybe Everton will jump us? Wait, we finished 5th, didn't we? And obviously United as well, I guess. Hey, chick, we are right. Ah, St. Antonius, I never catch you live. Aussie, Aussie, Aussie. Hey, chick, we were right. Money is the only language that Kroenke speaks, and he has a price. I'm sure he does. Do you know the funny thing is, yeah, I'm shocked he turned down that 2 billion bid from Amusinov. That must be just pure hatred. But I think if someone came and said, and it would have to take silly money at this point, and said, listen, you don't need all this hassle. You know, let me give you 3 billion and let's call it a day. He'd be nuts to turn that down. 3 billion. He'd be nuts. Hi, Chig. It's football fan chat again. Oh, dear. My favorite spammer. How are you, mate? You good? We will always attract French players. Still wouldn't have Pogba, but let me tell you something, Gary. I'll be honest with you. I'd have Pogba over Ozil in a heartbeat. In a heartbeat. And I've always said the same thing. It wouldn't even be a close. It wouldn't even be a discussion. Now, don't get it twisted. I prefer not to have either of them. But if you said to me, you could have one of them, Pogba, without even thinking. Yes, please. My VP said, drive up them lights. I usually gone to work at this time. What, you got a day off, Mr. Block? I always call you Antonius Black. It's Block. My bad. Slayer, we're competing with Wolves and Leicester, I think. Just so gutted it with my team, man. With you, Slayer. I'm with you, brother. I'm with you. All right, guys. What I'm gonna do? I'm gonna say this now clearly from the outset. I'm gonna do a number 15 minutes, and I'm out. 9:30 if you're watching UK time. 9:30, I'm out of it. So bombard me with questions. 15 minutes, and I'm out. What's a good transfer window for me? For me, Sol, it would be two defenders, even if one of those defenders is Saliba. Even if one of those defenders is Saliba. But we've got to do something now. I want a left back, even if it's a right back prospect. But I'll take Alves right now. I would. I changed my mind. I would, you know. I know I did an eagle eye a couple of days ago, and I kind of thought, oh, no, I don't know about that. At this point, Rago, let's do it. Let's do it. And then maybe a winger like a Soares or a Ziyech. Yeah, I'd be happy with that. Promote the kids. I'd be good with that. I think that would be a good window. I would be a good window. I think if you wanted to get greedy, you could get a Ramsey replacement, but I think that's why you promoted Smith Rowe and Willett. Let's see what the kids have. If you wanted to be greedy, you could probably replace Xhaka, but then I would have sold Xhaka, so that would have warranted a replacement. So yeah, I think for me, if you could get two defenders, a left back, a backup right back, and a winger, I'd be happy with that. Realistically, this window, and being a good window for me. Rabadan, they're still better than us, though. Oh, if you know, you know. Aussie. Scott Smith, Arsenal win the Champions League or Nigeria win the FA Cup. Oh, sorry, win the World Cup. Scott, I love my country. I was born in England, but Nigeria is my heritage. Everybody knows this. You know, people always ask me, what's the eagle part represent in my name? It's the Super Eagles. It's Nigeria. That's the reason I have it. I'm a Guna, and then I'm a Super Eagle. And that's why, hence the name. The I is just tops it off, really. That, and apparently there's another Guna Eagle somewhere. But Arsenal winning Champions League. Bro, I'm an Arsenal fan first, yo. I'm an Arsenal fan first, bro. I'm an Arsenal fan first. I'm sorry. I was an Arsenal fan literally before I started supporting Nigeria in anything. I'm just being real. And let me tell you something. You could ask Ola. Ola was born in Nigeria, and he'll tell you 100%. He'll tell you the same thing. That he's an Arsenal fan first, and it'll be Arsenal to win the Champions League. 100%. And that's just me being honest. But of course, I would love Nigeria to win the World Cup. Boy, I'd be painting my face in green and white all day long. Can I see anyone leaving this summer? El Nene, possibly Jenkinson, I think. I think the person that might actually get away with all this, because they've been very fucking clever, is Mkhitaryan. I actually think this motherfucker's gonna somehow stay, which amazes me. But this just shows you can't get rid of £200,000 a week easy. So yeah, I think Mkhitaryan might actually get away with it. I think Koscielny 100% will go. I just think he'll go. I mean, a lot of stories that are bubbling up at the moment is that he's eyeing up the exit door. I don't think the club would want him after the way he's conducting himself. And if you saw my chopping block yesterday, you know I would sack his punk ass. So it is what it is. Old ass average. Happy. We are done, man. Slayer. Maybe I'm overselling this happy part, but we are in the situation we're in, and we need a right back. And even if it is a 36-year-old, And to be fair, Alvarez had a good season. Admittedly, it was in the French league. That was my one worry. And the last time we signed an old right back, go to my Welcome to Lichtsteiner video. I am not enthusiastic. I know I'm not enthusiastic. I think I was the only one at the time that said, really, Lichtsteiner, 34 years old, in the Premier League. And I watched every other Welcome to Lichtsteiner video. It was all this, oh, he's going to be an amazing signing. He's going to be so good for the Chelsea. I said, all right, let's see, innit? Let's see. Look at what's happened 12 months later. When Chig knows defenders, yo. But I'd rather bring Alves in than stick Ainsley there for any longer than he needs to be honest. So, yes, I would take the risk. Slayer, for free, I'd take the risk. Hold on. Chig, am I watching the game? Most likely not. It's at 2 a.m. here. Fake Chig's going to pop up any minute now. Rich Flanken, this is why I got Boots. Boots is on the case. And if Boots mixes in, VP's got it. Don't worry, bro. That's why I have mods now. To get rid of any of these fake accounts, any of these fake troopses, fake Claudes. These men are on it. Trust me. Club before country for sure. 100%. 100%. And I love Nigeria, but let's be fucking honest here. I love the Soares, but Brazilian sources are dodgy still. Yeah, they are, Mike. They are. You're right. They are. And it could just be a case of, well, Edu's on board, so let's just link every talented Brazilian to the club. That could very much be a thing. Very much be a thing. But you've also got to think that Edu had a plan coming into this club. And maybe he started making almost a watch list of people he was going to bring on board from the get-go. I know a lot of people have their doubts over this, but I do think he had some sort of influence over the Martinelli deal. I know people said, yeah, but we started watching him before we were linked with Edu. Mark my words, Edu moved that deal along. If we end up getting Soares, that'll be a pure Edu move. Rabadan, thank you for the donation once again, brother. I totally agree about the loyalty thing. Liverpool is far more important to me than the Norwegian national team, and not just because they're crap. Listen, to be fair, and it pains me to say this, if I supported Liverpool, I wouldn't give a shit about Norway either. Liverpool are a big boy side these days. I ain't going to even lie. Ibrahim, yes, I did. I gave it a like, I must admit, Ibrahim. I did. Dunk is going for 45 million. That's madness. I like Lewis Dunk a lot. 45 million is nuts. I'm sorry. No. That's about 15 million too much. And I like Lewis Dunk, but not 45 million like. Torreira will leave. I don't know about this season. Suarez, I'm not sure about that. Play Siad as a centre-back, problem solved. You must be joking. I'd much rather play Monreal as centre-back. Incidentally, I think that's what will end up happening. I think Monreal will play as a centre-back this season. And I've got a feeling they'll still hold on to Siad, even if we get Tierney. So, yeah. Mickey's a massive coward from Brandon. Even Chid is doing a press conference tomorrow. Yeah, I'm not expecting to like what he says, to be fair, Brandon. I must admit. Will I sign the petition? Absolutely, I will. Because we are 15 days in and no closer to a signing. We need to get rid of El Nene, Mustafi, Mickey, Jenkinson, Kos, by Tierney, Soares, commanding centre-back. so he probably won't sign anyone. Yeah, Barbosa. I was going to say, funny enough, as I was reading that, I was thinking, yeah, you better lower your expectations on both sides. So I'm glad you already knew that. All right, 4 more minutes. Damn, time's raced away. 4 more minutes. 4 more minutes and I'm out. Remember, 119 people watching. Please do give this video a like before I get out of it. Chick, I don't want Zaha anymore. I want Soares all day. Well, you guys know what I thought about Zaha anyway. I still take Zaha, to be honest. If it was a choice between nothing or Zaha, I'd take Zaha. But it can't be at that sort of price. It can't be. I just think there are better options than Zaha. That's my personal opinion. I think Ryan Fraser, for his price, is a better option. I think that Soares, to me, is a more of an exciting talent than Zaha. And he's 3 years younger and he's much cheaper. So yeah, I'd rather that as an option. Ziyech. I know you guys hate me banging on about him as a world-class talent. I am amazed no one's going for him. There must be something that people know that we're not privy to, because they are keeping away from him like he is, like he's got BO or something. I don't know what is going on. So there are just better options. That's all. Four minutes. Why did I arrive so late? This is why I say press the notification bell, Iffy. That's what I'm trying to say. That's usually the thing that catches Boots out. We should reinvest into the South American market. They are ridiculously passionate about their football, and we need that. Yeah, I agree with that, Gary. I think that's an untapped market. The only problem is do you go there and you make the boys play football in 45-degree heat? You probably don't necessarily want that either. How many years does Ozil have in his contract? 2. 2. Unfortunately. Join Kate. Guess I'm not meant to say join late. Who are we talking about? Rewind Darkest. It's basically Everton Soares and a couple of others. So have a listen to that. And Ndombele is world class, 100%. 2 more years we could bid him. Not too long now. I think Ziyech is a system player, so maybe clubs don't want to invest in him. I've got a feeling, Mike Hash, to be fair, do you know what I think it is? I've got a feeling defensively he's not great. And these days, managers want their players to do a little bit more. They just do. They want them to do a little bit more. So I think that's what it actually is. Which is a shame because I think he's such a good player. But Coutinho wants to come back. Should we get him? Nope, not for that though. But I never rated Coutinho even when he was at Liverpool. I got to admit. I thought he was all right. I never thought he was amazing, though. I always thought Mane was a much better player. To be honest, Salah has his little funny days as well, but I even think Salah is a better player. So, yeah. Ziyech misses too many chances. Well, at least he's getting in the areas to have said chances. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Let me just answer Anthony MK. What do you think Arsenal's transfer fee is? Transfer fee? You mean transfer budget or transfer fee? Mane is a world-class player for Ramadan. Just waiting for Anthony MK to respond, and then I'm out of it. Salah is better than Awerbi. Oh, dear. I don't trust Emre when it comes to transfers anymore. Budget. Do you know what? I think it is whatever we need it to be. Because I do think that Lee has a valid point. I think Lee overestimates how many deals we do that for, but I do agree with Lee when he says that, you know, the budget doesn't necessarily tell the story of what or how many players we can get and the value of those players. Because Arsenal ultimately, if they want a player and it's of a reasonable value, i.e. a Soares, then they'll pay installments. So that wouldn't necessarily affect today's value so much. Like I just talked about in the story today, apparently the plan is to play 25 million up front for Soares, and then the rest over a period of time to come up to the total of 36 million. So I think ultimately, if they find that a player is worth it and they can get their club to agree to their structured deal, they'll do it. Because to be fair, I talk about Ndombele. People forget Ndombele is being paid over 5 years. Now that deal is being paid over a 5-year period. They're not just paying for that straight up front. So yeah. Boots encouraging with the VP overtime fee and VP obliges. Thank you, brother. I appreciate it. Guys, thank you so much for listening to me rabbit on. I do think that this movement is so important this weekend. Do you? Please do go find it. Do go check out my Twitter. The link is in the description below. I have retweeted what the fans have said and the letter that they've drawn up to Kroenke. I think it's such an important movement. It won't take you long, even if you go on Twitter, to find this petition and this. Just sign up. Do whatever you can to make this guy just pay attention to us for a second. It's like with a girlfriend in the room and he's too busy looking at the side chick. Like, hello, we're here. We're supposed to be your most important people. Pay attention to us. We're right here. So, you know, I think it is an important cause. And it's a respectful thing. You know, I know a lot of people are very frustrated with Stan, me included. But the one good thing about this is even if you're one of these people that agrees but doesn't like the way that people approach it somehow, you know, I think that actually this is the good way of doing it. Because I know there's a lot of people I can think of. I'm thinking of people like Karen and people like that are very kind of sensible and you know, very diplomatic. And if you are that way inclined, at least this is a good way of being able to get your voice out there without necessarily rocking the boat, you know? So yeah, let's see what happens, yo. 15 days into July, and I ain't gonna lie, even I thought something would have happened by now. Let's see if anything else happens. Make sure you do give this video a like before you bounce. And I'm pretty much out of here, guys. Take care. Enjoy your Monday evening. Enjoy the game.